communication. We had gotten through most of that, thankfully, but at that point, at this 1893, mediums were still being hauled into court. It wasn't all that different from the days of the Salem witchcraft trials. Mediums were being hauled into court. Well, by what authority do you share this information? By what authority do you tell people that life continues? By what authority do you tell someone that their specific loved one is with them? Well, by God's authority, we know that. They knew that. But you know, today isn't all that different. God's authority doesn't seem to mean much in a court of law. So it was determined that one of the reasons spiritualism needed to bring people together was to protect the mediums, to form a religious organization that could, in fact, say, this individual is doing God's work. This individual is working for the highest good for humanity. In those days, because it was such a new religion, everyone had come from other various religions. And, you know, as is typical and to be expected, people were bringing a lot of their own religious teachings into spiritualism. So it was a little scattered. You know, you had a little bit of this one and a little bit of this one, and oh, let's not forget the piece of this one. And they tried to commingle it all with spiritualism. Well, that doesn't work. It really does not work. Spiritualism is its own religion. Spiritualism does have very definite guidelines, beliefs, knowledge. And while we respect all religions, we also respect ours enough that we wanted unity. We wanted to have specific teachings that people would be drawn to and would live in accordance with. So that was another reason to bring spiritualists together. This very first convention, there were approximately 200 people, and they came from 24 states. Florida was one of them. You know, we hear a lot about all the New England mediums, but Florida was one of those 24 states that were represented in 1893. And here we are hosting it again in 2010. Well, they had to come together with objectives. You know, you can't have a good business meeting if you don't make some ideas and put them down on paper and get this organized. Now bear in mind, we had people from many, many different backgrounds, many religious backgrounds, many public figures, political figures. I know nowadays that makes us cringe. Scientists, journalists, many different organizations, many different occupations. And all of these people came together to try to agree on something. Now, isn't that fun? How often do you get a group of people together and everyone agrees? I can't think of any organization that I have ever been involved with, whether it was Scouts or kids bands group or PTA or churches or dance group. There's always lively discussion. And our group and our organization is certainly no different. And those of you who are able to come to convention this next week will certainly see that for yourselves. But you know, that's all right when you have passion about something, when it is important, when it is something you believe with all your heart. You know with all your heart, then you probably will have a pretty strong opinion. But the thing about spiritualists is, although we are very, very grateful to our pioneers, they established a phenomenal foundation for us. We also pride ourselves on being progressive. We do change. We just said our Declaration of Principles together. Well, if you look again at that inside front cover at the top of the page, it will tell you as each principle was added. We do pride ourselves on progression. Now, does that mean everyone, like a school of fish, goes in the same direction all together? No. I suppose it would be wonderful if we would, but maybe it would also be quite boring. We do have leaders within our churches and within our national organization. But you know what? Those leaders are dependent upon the people they lead. Even during our national convention, our national board does not conduct business. They can't, because the delegates are in charge at the convention. The national board comes together a few days before and they stay one day after to tie up loose ends, to meet with people who are sitting for their ordination examinations, for their National Spiritualist Teacher examinations. But during the convention, the delegates have the power, and the delegates have the opportunity to speak up and vote on issues and make changes. Every year we get to do this, every year, in different parts of the country. Well, this committee in 1893 thought that we needed to have all the spiritualists in the United States organized into one organization. That's not so today. Today we have lots of different spiritualist organizations.